Alright, welcome back. Bleacher Report made this article a couple weeks ago. It's the top 30 players by 2030. So this is only 4 years from now. Really shouldn't be that much different, but let's see what they got. At 30, we got Paolo. That's probably not a stretch. I mean, the discourse around him after the end of last season wasn't too great. But in 4 years, a lot of the guys ahead of him will be worse or retired. This probably isn't a stretch. 29, Caleb Wilson. So obviously he hasn't played an NBA game yet, but he has looked pretty great in Summer League. But if you watch my video about a month ago, you know how I feel about overreacting to Summer League performances. But 29 is probably a fine spot for him. I'm sure he'll be a great player. And 4 years from now, he'll start to really be hitting his stride as an NBA player. J-Dub, 28 is probably a solid spot. I'd agree with that. I think at the end of last season, there were arguments about him being maybe a top 20 player because he just made the All-NBA third team, won a championship, was arguably the second best player on that team. But after this previous season, 28 is probably a good spot to put him. Great player. Not one of the top tier players in the NBA. Stephon Castle at 27. I think this is pretty accurate. By 2030, the Spurs might have won a championship already. So it would be pretty common to put Stephon Castle in a top 30 list. I'll be interested to see where Dylan Harper is. Because I know fans, especially like on Twitter, I see a lot of these rankings. They're not pretty keen on having a ton of players from one team in a top 30, top 40, 50 list. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see where Dylan Harper is. I assume he'll be higher than Castle. He already looked like the second best Spur during that final series as a rookie. So, yeah, he's got to be above Castle. 26, Franz Wagner. I do like where this spot is. He definitely is better than Paolo. He does more with the ball. He's a better passer, better defender in my opinion. He makes smarter decisions. He doesn't take the stupid mid-range shots, fadeaways, long threes that Paolo takes. I like where he is. His one problem throughout his career has been his consistency with staying on the court. So I think in a few years maybe he'll overcome that and he'll be playing more games every season and really showing what he can do. So yeah, if he's able to stay healthy, top 25 is definitely reachable for him. Whoa. 25, Con Knipple. I don't know about this one. I don't know. Because Con had a really great rookie season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was second in Rookie of the Year voting. He made the most threes in the NBA as a rookie. However, I wouldn't say a lot of his offensive production was self-created. A lot of it was the fact that LaMelo actually had a pretty healthy season, and he had a great point guard to set him up for good looks. So I don't know how he'll play when he doesn't have one of the better playmakers in the NBA starting alongside of him. I think he definitely will become a better player, but top 25, I mean, you got to be really, really good to be a top 25 player. I struggle right now making top 50 lists because once you get to this top 30, the margins are so thin on where to rank players. So I think it's going to be really hard for Khan to be this high up. Another thing I'm worried about with him is that he just doesn't get that much better from where he was in his rookie year. I think a lot of the times when a rookie plays really well for his age and either wins Rookie of the Year, finishes high in Rookie of the Year voting because they outplayed their age, a lot of people will assume the sky's the limit and he's going to continue to improve every season. Then he hits his prime and he's just this all-star, superstar kind of player. And that just doesn't happen every time. There are guys that really ball out their rookie year and then they just stay that level of player for the rest of their career. And I think that's kind of the level that Khan's at. He may totally prove me wrong and develop into a crazy on-the-ball scorer who creates his own shot. But in my opinion, he's closer to like an off-ball catch-and-shoot guy who plays good defense and isn't really like a primary guy on a team. I could be wrong, But yeah, I already got some beef with this list. Whoa! Jalen Brunson at 24. Yikes. I mean, I think on my top 10 current players list, I put him at 5 or 6. And yeah, that is recency bias. He just won a championship. But this is only 4 years from now. He's what, like 20, 28, 29 currently? So he'll be in his early to mid 30s in the 2030 season. I don't think he'll lose that much of his skill. A lot of what makes him great are skills that are pretty transferable to being a older NBA player. Like, he's got a great jump shot. I don't see that regressing. He's really smart with how he gets to his spots. And it's not like his defense is going to fall off because he isn't a great defender already. I think 24 is way too low. I still think he'll be top 10 or at least knocking on the door of top 10 in 4 seasons. I mean, 4 seasons is not that long. He's not going to fall off this hard. And I don't think that many players are going to pass him. Yeah, no, this is a terrible spot for him. Coming off a championship, too, I thought they would be way higher on Brunson. Actually, let's see what they said about him. He'll be 33 by the 2030 season. So he'll be 34. Oh, wow, huge difference. So they said Brunson's already learned how to dominate at both a size and athleticism deficit. He's done it with skill and craft. Neither trade is likely to abandon Brunson over the next 4 years. In fact, there's a chance he sharpens those skills between now and 2030. This reasoning is not really supporting why he's so low. It's possible, but geez. Evan Mobley, 23. This is another guy where, like, I don't really have much to say about this. He probably will be close to a top 20 player. I don't know where I'd put him right now in Big 2026. He's probably bordering on a top 30 player just because he's a good defender, so versatile on offense, being like a role man who can also shoot threes and shoot mid-range shots. He can really do a lot of things on the floor while being your best defender. Very, very mobile, too. Can guard the perimeter as well. Another player that guys that are ahead of him are either going to get older and retire, and he's just going to be moving towards his prime. Yeah, 23 is a great spot for him. I don't really see any contention with that. Şengün, 22. I personally would have Mobley above Şengün at this point. I think he got a lot of slander during the 2026 playoffs. I don't know. He's a fine player. Top 30 definitely. I think he should be on this list. Maybe a little bit lower. Brunson, Mobley at least are going to be ahead of him. So, I'm just shocked they'll have Şengün over Brunson here. That's wild to me. Amen Thompson, personally, I think, Asar should be pretty close to him because they have relatively the same skill set. Maybe I'm a little biased as a Pistons fan. In 4 years, you never know. Asar could develop that offensive game and be really similar to Amen. But right now, they're kind of banking on him continuing to be the better offensive twin while also playing absolutely elite defense. It's hard to gauge just exactly where these players are going to end up with their skill set a couple years into the future. Amen can make a little bit of improvement to his game. I don't think he'll ever develop a jump shot. Same thing with Asar. If they're not really showing signs at this point, I don't think it's ever going to develop, but he's a really good playmaker. He's got a good handle, can really attack downhill, and with his athleticism, there's really no stopping him, especially as he gets closer to his prime. 20, we got Chet. His PR could not be lower right now just because of how the Thunder lost in Game 7, especially how he got bitched by Wemby. 20 is a good spot for him, though. He's still a very unique player. If it weren't for Victor, we'd see a lot about how Chet is this 7'2" freak who can handle the ball and shoot and play amazing defense, but because Victor Wembanyama exists, his skill set is less special to everybody. 20 is a great spot for him. I think he will learn from that Game 7 performance. He'll probably put on muscle in the next couple years of his career, which will really help him be more of a traditional center. And he'll get a lot of playoff experience because the Thunder aren't going to be falling off anytime soon. Yeah, he really has a lot of room to improve, and 20 is a great spot. He might even be higher by the time this season rolls around. Whoa, Denny at 19. I just don't think he gets that much better from here. He's a good player. He's an all-star. I'm not going to say that much about him for some reasons, but 19's a little high, especially with the players that are ranked below him right now. I mean, at least Chet, Brunson, Mobley, maybe. At least those guys are better than Denny in the 2030 season. But I mean, he's a 6'9" huge point forward, and that's a skill set that no matter what team you're on, no matter what era you're in, that's a skill set that is really coveted. He'll be a top 30 player, just maybe not top 20. Jalen Johnson, I don't know. I mean, he did just have like his first season as a primary guy where he made the playoffs and didn't look too great at it. But got to give him grace here. He probably still will learn from that and improve. He's still a young player, so he'll definitely be getting better at this point. But again, the threshold for being a top 20 player, you got to be really, really good. And I just don't know if he'll end up being there. And keep in mind, like 18, you've got players ranked below him that really shouldn't be. But again, he's a top 30 player, so it's fine. Tatum at 17. Wow. Is Bleacher Report, are they anti-Tatum? Not that I'm like super pro Tatum, but I'm trying to think if they're like a platform that praises him. I don't know. I know he had the Achilles tear, but he's a consensus top 10 player right now, and he won't be like super old at this point. He'll be 33. Yeah, this is really dependent on how he's gonna age after his Achilles tear. I personally believe he'll be a little bit better than the 17th best player, but yeah, we've seen in the past when guys tear their Achilles, they never really come back the same most of the time, and aging into your mid-30s probably hits you a little bit worse. The more I think about this, the more I don't hate it. 17 is probably a pretty solid spot for Tatum. Halliburton at 16, he'll be 30 at this point. I mean, I just talked about it with Tatum. I think this is pretty much the same situation. We still haven't seen how he's going to bounce back from an Achilles tear. And same deal. You know, aging into your 30s, even a few years past such a devastating injury like that, it can still affect you, especially as you start to lose some of that prime athleticism. So yeah, for now, 16 is a pretty good spot for Halliburton. Yeah, I like what they say here. If Tatum's long-term outlook is questionable, Halliburton's is a total mystery because we haven't seen him. He doesn't rely as much on athleticism in his game. He's a very quick player, but his game is a lot more mental with the playmaking and the shot making, all of that. But still, we haven't seen him play. So I think this is a good, safe spot to have him. Okay, yeah, Dylan Harper at 15. Yeah, I thought they would have him this high, at least have him above Castle. I think Harper really has potential to be a top 10 player. I see a lot of Cade Cunningham in him. You know, really, really tall, really big and strong, 6'6" point guard. Handles the ball. I think he'll definitely improve on his jump shot. He doesn't have like bad mechanics. He just didn't shoot a super high percentage in his rookie year, but he's only 20 and he's really going to work on that. But to have the balls to take initiative and get to the rim in the finals as a rookie, it really speaks volume to how good he's going to be in the NBA. I think he'll be fantastic. All NBA first, second team player. He'll probably be higher than 15, but it's a good safe spot to put him. Only coming off of his rookie season. Giannis at 14. How old is Giannis going to be? 35. Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on how he's going to do with injuries. The last couple seasons haven't looked great for him. He's missed a lot of time with some calf strains, ankle issues. He played like 30 games last season and has been pretty close to missing the 65-game threshold in seasons past. Yeah, I don't know, because he'll be 35 years old, but still being a 7-footer that can move like that. And now he's getting better with a jump shot. Like he's got a actually pretty solid mid-range game. Really good fadeaways. I think he can really age into that like Kevin Garnett kind of face-up game. If he can work on that, yeah, 14 is a great spot for him. Might even keep a top 10 player towards the tail end of his career. But it's really dependent on, how much of his athleticism can he keep, and will he be able to stay on the court? That's a big question. But yeah, I like that. I would probably still say he's going to be a top 10 player. Scotty Barnes at 13. I just made my top 10 players video, and at number 10 it was Scotty. I think he'll be a little bit higher than this. As he has more playoff success and more regular season team success, I think more people will come to realize that Scotty really is a stud. I think as he gets more of the right help around him, it'll make him look better as a player. And yeah, he'll definitely be top 10. AJ DeBonsta hasn't played a single NBA game, and we're saying he's a top 12 player in 2030. I don't think so. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust or anything, but you have to be a really, really good player to be top 12 or just bordering on that top 10. And I just don't know if he's going to be that good. I think he'll be an excellent scorer, but that's the only thing I know about him. And this could be because I don't watch college basketball a ton, and I just don't know ball about this rookie class, but I just think it's a little too soon to put him this high. Darren Peterson, now I'm higher on him, but the same thing. They haven't played NBA games, so I don't really want to be ranking them just outside the top 10 off of not seeing a minute of regular season NBA basketball. I think he's got a better chance of being here than DeBonsta does. But again, I'm not going to comment on whether or not I think this is a good pick. LaMelo at 10. What, do we think he's going to become a better player from here? The whole reason Charlotte traded him is just because they think he might struggle with his ankle problems again. He had one healthy season where he looked great, but who's to say this doesn't come back? Yeah, I don't like where they have him ranked. I just don't think he'll really get that much better than he is right now, and he's nowhere close to a top 10 player. All right, number 9, we got Tyrese Maxey. I think this is a great spot for him. He'll still be in his prime in 4 years. Yeah, it says he's going to be 29. He's got a game that's built for long-term success. Really good three-point shooter, super fast. I just don't see any way he gets worse in the next 4 years. And in fact, I still think he's got room to improve, and especially playing next to Embiid and LeBron this next season, he'll learn a lot from them. He could be close to like a James Harden level player, but he's not as big, so he probably won't have the same impact. Yeah, definitely a top 10 player though. All right, number 8, Cam Boozer. And so I'll say the same thing I said about DeBonsta and Peterson. We haven't seen a single game from these guys, and we're putting them top 10 and borderline top 10. I just think that is way too high of a projection for someone that's only played college basketball and summer league games. I think Cam Boozer's going to be really good. I think he's a prototypical new NBA big who's got size and strength and really high processing ability, can play make really well. He'll probably have a good jump shot. I think he's going to be great. But again, to put him as a top 10 player in just 4 years, I could be proven tremendously wrong about these 3 guys. There's a lot of hype surrounding these guys as they start their careers. I know they're supposed to be like transcendent talents, but every year we have a new draft class. We cannot be saying that the top players of the draft class are every year going to be top 10 players, because that's just not how it works. Not everyone can be a top 10 player every season. I don't know. But I could totally eat my words here, and they could all be studs. Cade Cunningham, number 7. That's right about where he is right now, and I don't hate that. We'll see where he and the Pistons land in the next 4 years, whether or not we have more playoff success. If we get further, if we never make it to the second round again, that could all affect where people rank Cade. But he has a game that's going to last until he's like 38. He doesn't play with flashy athleticism. He has a really crafty, skillful game where he processes plays at his speed. I think he'll continue to be a top 10 player until multiple guys come and take that spot from him. Yeah, 7's a great place. Number 6, Cooper Flagg. I'm with this. You know, we've only had one season of action from him, but he looks phenomenal. He shows exactly what you want to see out of a modern NBA wing. I think he can be, in his prime, a better version of Jason Tatum with a slightly worse jump shot. He's going to be freaking awesome. I don't have much more to say about that. Yeah, I really like Ant-Man at 5. He's another guy where he's shown his elite ability with his athleticism and jumper. Really makes him an unstoppable player to guard. And that's not changing anytime soon. I think having LaMelo next to him for the foreseeable future will just elevate his capabilities. I really hope he can stay healthy, but I think if Ant has a good point guard next to him and he doesn't have to take on so many playmaking duties, I think he can look even better as a scorer. Number 5 is a great spot. Jokic at 4. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. He's arguably the best player right now. You know, some people got Shea or Wemby ahead of him, but at least he's a top 3 player in 2026, and he's got a game that he'll continue to be able to play at this level until he retires. Top 3, maybe top 4 player for the rest of his career. That seems just about right. He'll be 35 in the 2030 season. I just don't think that matters. I don't think his abilities will be zapped from him as he ages. I think he'll stay right where he is. But who knows? Maybe he'll be retired by then. I know a lot of people think he hates basketball and he wants to go back to Serbia and race horses. But yeah, if he's in the NBA, he's a top 4 player easily. Shea at 3. I think at this point in 2030, it's going to be a lot easier for people to say he's 1 or 2, depending on how you feel about Wemby. People will grow out of the free throw merchant agenda, just like they did with James Harden. I was around for the he's averaging 40 era, you know, in 2019, where he was, I think he had, what was it, like a 27-game streak of dropping 30 points? It was crazy. But that being said, I hated him because he was flopping and foul baiting and doing the double step back, and he was like the worst free throw merchant back in the day. And people have really come around full circle on James Harden. They say he's a legend. He's one of the best players of all time, even though he hasn't won a ring. He's a top 5 scorer ever. I think the same thing's going to happen with Shea. As people get more and more used to his game, and maybe he gets less calls as he approaches his 30s. I think they're really going to come around and acknowledge that he is one of the best players of all time. He just won back-to-back MVPs, has already won a championship, and might win more. People will 100% say he's close to the best player in the league. Okay, so we have Luka above him. Personally, I would say Shea will be above Luka at this point. It's going to be tough to say what kind of success Luka's going to have in the next couple of years, because I don't think LA is going to be able to put as good of a team around him as Dallas was able to. People still think Luka is a dumb chud defender, but actually he's really not that bad. He's a big-bodied point guard. He's always going to be at least like close to an average defender. I don't know. I'd be fine with Luka at 2. I think the last couple seasons have been rough for him, but he started his career off so well, and he could really pick that back up at any time. Just personally, I think Shea has already had the success, and he has this skill set to be a top 2 player. I think Luka still has the higher ceiling that he can hit, though. I don't know. This is really tough. They're just 2 great guys from the same draft class that are really going to be fighting over that best guard in the NBA spot for the rest of their careers, because there's arguments to be had about both of them. Just personally, I still think Shea will be the better player. I think we can all assume who's going to be number 1. Yeah, Wemby. He's already maybe the best player in the NBA, and 4 years from now, I don't think it'll change unless something crazy happens with another player, or Wemby starts to have some freak injury problems. That would be the only thing that takes him out of this spot, because he's already a one-of-one player we've never seen anything like him, and he'll just continue to get better and better until he hits his prime. Number 1 is the only spot that I would have been fine with putting him at. I mean, he'll be the best defender of all time while also growing into an unstoppable offensive player. He's got a chance to win back-to-back championships for the first time since the Warriors. Yeah, 100%. He's the only right answer for best player in 2030. Overall, pretty solid list. I think maybe swap Shea and Luka, just in my opinion. I don't know. I think I am the premier ball knower over Bleacher Report, so they should listen to me. But yeah, I guess I'm fine with that. All of these are pretty good except for Avdia being too high, maybe Şengün being too high. I don't think he's going to be close to that good of a player in 2030. And then Brunson being 24. Come on, man, what's up with that? LaMelo was a little bit too high. I don't think he'll be anywhere close to a top 10 player. Solid list, though. Good list to make content out of, but that's all I got for you. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, maybe subscribe, and check out my other bullshit.